Hey everyone, this is Robert, and thank you so much for tuning in to Station Square. Well, I've been doing like a series of interviews for Solomon Trine, but this is just going to be like a little quick follow-up or revisit episode of Station. So just going back to normal for a change. But yeah, I have my returning guest, Roshelle Simpson, in the corner. Say hi to the people out there.
Hello, hello. So good to be
Yeah,
back.
yeah, anytime. And I know as we're just now starting to get into the dog days of summer, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Just wanted to know from you, how has everything been in 2025? Let's just talk about what you've been up to as of late. And yeah, let's get the party started.
Yeah, you know what? This year has been interesting. It's been an interesting kind of roller coaster of a year. But so far, it's good. We made it through the first half and yeah, I'm just trucking along. I did do some fun projects recently, so that was good and I'm just kind of doing the things, I guess just putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what a lot of us are doing right now. It's like we're just putting our best foot forward, and that's pretty much what we strive to do.
Yeah, yeah. The industry is a little bit in a weird place, I think, for a lot of people. Um, so yeah, we're all doing our best and just doing what we can. But it's okay. I've had some good. I just finished like a project that was meaningful to me, so that was really cool.
Yeah, and would you like to talk about it?
Sure, that was I did an audiobook for women with ADHD and I have ADHD. So it was just really cool because I don't do a lot of audiobooks. I usually shy away, but I was just like, well, the subject matter really means something to me. So that was really fun. It's not out yet, but it's done and in the final stages, I think, with the author.
Yeah, and I guess on the topic of audiobooks, what is something that you really enjoy the most out of doing them?
Well, I guess with this, like I said, I shy away from a lot of them because I mean, I have so much respect for the people that do these super long, like 10, 15, 20. I had another friend doing like a 30-hour audiobook with so many characters. That's not quite up my alley. But I love when I can learn something from it. So I felt like I really learned a lot with this audiobook. And so when it's more along the lines of something just nonfiction, where I really feel like I'm learning as I'm reading it, that just I don't know, it fills me with so much joy. It just felt different.
Yeah, I'm just really starting to get into the whole audiobook thing and, just getting to audition for so many different topics and subjects that, it's pretty educational for you. Like you learn some new stuff along the way, and I think that's what kind of makes it fun for me.
Yeah, definitely. It was so interesting. I mean, and it was not like a scientific book because sometimes those can be intimidating too, but it was really more like just life hacks. It felt like 4 hours of life hacks. So I thought that was really fun because it just so many ways to work with your brain and yeah. So anyway, that's what I like the most about doing that specific kind of work.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I'm already stumbling, but what would you say was kind of like, as far as like, at any point in your career, what would you say was something that really speaks to you on a very personal level?
I would say gosh, I would have to think about it for a minute. I think this one was probably one of those. I mean, there was another time, and we haven't gone through the process yet, but recording the proverbs, which I thought would be a really, really fun thing to do. So I'm looking forward to that. I would love to do more, just whether it's reading scripture or going through and doing things that are a little bit closer to my heart, meaningful to me. Because I think a lot of the other things that I've done, there have been a lot of, just smaller projects or commercial type things or, other things that it's harder to feel, I guess, an emotional connection to.
Yeah, and I know that you wear so many different hats. So what is something that you kind of take from, personal life and just put it into art from your perspective?
Yeah, I think Really just, gosh, everything. I mean, I tend to be a little, I don't know, sarcastic or off the cuff so just when I get to play a little bit and have show more personality, like things don't have to be flat, that's when I have the most fun with it, especially being a mom and having kids. So when I get to kind of speak to an audience in that way, it makes me really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know personally, it's like, when you have something like a story or some, because you being a mom is also kind of like, it brings like a new sense of authenticity into, playing mothers or just giving a new, fresh perspective from, your own personal life and just putting it out there.
hmm Yeah, totally. It's completely different when you can draw from a deeper well. It makes all the difference, I think, in the performance. I mean, I've done a lot of just quite a few podcasts, and those are always fun. But I think because I have so many different layers to choose from. I guess there's like the mom me, there's, the working me, there's the woman of color, there's, daughter of immigrants. There's so many things to kind of pull from and make the character more authentic and just have a little bit more depth and, layered performance. So yeah, there are so many things that, I mean, everybody has that. It's just a matter of recognizing it in yourself and then throwing it into your work.
Yeah. And is there any media that also inspires you, like in life or just creatively?
You mean like anything that I've maybe watched in particular lately?
Mm.
You know what? I love, well, I've said this before, but I love comedy. So really anything that's comedic. So sometimes it comes from like right now, I'm a little late, but I'm watching Hacks on HBO, and that's been a really fun show. And it's not animated, but just drawing from kind of that I don't know, like it has, this theme of feminism and it's just really interesting. But then also like going to like the children's shows and children's movies that I watch with my daughter that, that are really fun. So we watched Minecraft and I absolutely love that. And anything that Jack Black does, it just makes me so happy. So yeah, it's really just like everything, I guess, that I love to, every time I'm watching something, it's with a new lens now because I'm like, wow, what a performance.
Yeah, I just like a lot of the stuff that Jack Black does too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's so great.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then outside of that, like since you do a lot of content creating as well, how would you say that it's also like it helps you, I guess, get a better understanding of how, you can just make a video and still do voiceover and just pretty much be yourself, like, in a lot of the stuff that you've been doing online.
Yeah. I mean, I've backed off a lot on the content creation as of late just because life is a little bit crazy, but it really, really helps. Like, I notice so much that anytime you're just authentic and you kind of drop the fear, which is hard to do, I guess you don't drop it, you just kind of move it out of the way enough to like let yourself show. And then you realize like that's what gets the most attention and just, just connection. Maybe attention's not the best word because it's not, I mean, we all want attention, but it's a different kind of, garnering these connections, garnering something that people really feel like they can relate to. And so I love that in content creation, whether it's just writing on LinkedIn or making a post, making like a reel or whatever it is, when you show yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, people actually, they resonated with that. It kind of is like giving yourself permission and then you can bring that into the booth.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I'm definitely the same way because because each of us has a story to tell and we just put it out there for all to see.
Yeah, that's true. We do. We all have like something so interesting. And I always say, like, everybody has something. It's not like there's, of course, there are people with extraordinary stories, but I think when we all look at ourselves, we each have something to bring and it's so unique to us. So the more we can get comfortable with that, the better I think our performance, you know, shines. And yeah, it's a process to get there, to get really comfortable. I mean, I know I'm not like there. I haven't arrived, but it's just continually working toward that. I think I do have a clear idea of like this is what I'm always working toward.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So yeah, since we're kind of in the month of June, because you mentioned ADHD and stuff, so how can I phrase this? How would you say that, it's also something that it's kind of like a very big part of you and how you approach life and just with your work in general?
You mean how do I approach it with ADHD?
No, I mean like how would you say that with ADHD, with everything, um, or just being neurodivergent is a very big aspect of how you approach just with everything that you do.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely it's interesting because one of the things, that I had thought about while I was recording the audiobook was it's kind of like this thing in the back of my mind, like I don't dwell on ADHD and it's not my identity. However, it very much affects my day-to-day life and how I do things. And my experience, my lived experiences are shaped by the way that my brain is different than like a neurotypical. And I think I think it's just really leaning into the things that you find work for you. It takes a lot of grit in some areas to really kind of break through certain barriers, and also remembering that our brains are plastic. They can change. I mean, it gets harder as you get older, but the more that you do things, the more you can kind of carve out these habits and things that make life easier on a day to day.
Yeah. And like I said, there's a lot of us have very different viewpoints and different perspectives on how we approach stuff. So not one person is going to be like the same as person X, Y, or Z. And that's kind of what makes this very fine for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. And and I guess having your own unique voice is also really helpful. So what would you say was the moment where you discovered, oh, okay, I have something to offer and I'm just gonna be just authentically me for VO?
Mm. That's such a great question. What's interesting is actually I think it was I've always loved to write. Like since I was a little, I remember like keeping a diary and that kind of thing and just always keeping journals, and then I kind of let it go for a while and then brought it back maybe a little before COVID and then throughout COVID and was writing all the time. But it was very, very personal, so I didn't really share a lot. And when I got into VO and I was like, "Oh, I gotta like market. I gotta be on LinkedIn. Okay, I guess like let me figure out this LinkedIn thing." And when I started taking things that I wrote that were kind of personal and making them LinkedIn appropriate and putting it on there, just seeing the response, like seeing how people were constantly messaging me, like, oh my gosh, I love that you are just authentic. Like, that's me too. Like I have like this and that going on, or this is how I feel. Like, people just were really, really willing to share and open up because I opened up. And I think that's made the biggest difference. I really think it was such a I think it came late for me, but being able to take that step and just putting myself out there, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so everybody's feeling this way." And then it gives you again permission when you're in the booth to be like, "No, this is just how people are. Like we're all different. We're all a little weird. Let's just be ourselves and it's going to be fine."
Right on. And I guess that's kind of a good note to wrap up this quick little follow up or just a check in. So, any social media or projects that you want to share, self promo, now's the time to do so.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'm only on LinkedIn right now, so you can still find me on LinkedIn at Rochelle Simpson. And check out Women with ADHD once it's out. There's a subtitle with it by Emily Pratt, and that's a really, really fun one. A lot of the other things, I honestly have no idea when they'll be out. They're podcasts, and some of them I can't mention yet. So I'll probably post about it when they're out, but it might not be until next year.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, any final bit of advice or closing thoughts, just to anybody going through a rough time right now, or
Mm.
just general?
Yeah, life is crazy right now. I mean, the world outside right now is crazy, especially where we live, for, people of color. And I don't know. All I can say is I am getting through each day one step and one prayer at a time. And that's the only advice I can give. I don't have anything other than just, putting one foot in front of the other, keeping focused on the things that are important, while we're all in this just insane time.
Yeah, I think that I'm pretty much am in the same boat here. Just
Yeah.
one day, one prayer at a time, and yeah, who knows what the future holds? But let's uh, let's come together and make the world better. I guess that's my closing thoughts.
Yeah. Hey, but you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, and just do it if you want to do anything in life. That's cliche, but it's so true.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, for the outro, I think we did this last time too, where you say, "Hey, my name is Rochelle. You've heard me at this, and this is Station Square Podcast with Robert Jackson." If you'd like to.
Um, I don't know what else what I can say people have heard me in. But I could just say that this is Rochelle Simpson with Station Square Podcast with Robert Jackson.
I
On
think that probably, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is Rochelle Simpson on Station Square Podcast with Robert Jackson.
Beautiful. And on that note, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. And until next time, stay lovely, stay cool. And be sure to follow more for, I guess, social media, my stuff that I'll link in the description. Like if there's any updates on Solomon Shrine or any of the other projects I'm doing, keep up to date and just follow if you want to. But, anyways, take care and God bless.
See ya.
Bye.